This video is an introductory guide to the rules and gameplay of flat track roller derby. A bout is divided into two 30-minute periods. Each period is divided into segments of play called jams. Each jam can be up to 2 minutes long. The game is played on a flat track. All skaters must wear quad skates and a pinch of safety gear. A bout requires many skating and non-skating officials. This includes the referees and officials to track the score, clock, penalties, and more. There are two positions in roller derby, blockers and jammers. Every jam, both teams will field 4 blockers and 1 jammer. The jammers are the one skater who can score points on your team. They wear stars on their helmet cover, and they get 1 point for each blocker of the opposing team that they pass after their initial pass for each jam. The blockers are there to play defense and stop the other team's jammer from doing laps. They can also play offense by helping their own jammer to do the same. So this brings us to a foundational rule, lead jammer status. For each jam, whichever team's jammer gets out first is declared the lead jammer. You can always tell who the lead jammer is because the jam referee will be pointing at them. They will also signal an L for lead after their initial pass. Whichever jammer gets lead jammer status remains lead for the entirety of that jam unless they receive a penalty or take off the star. The lead jammer has the ability to call off the jam by tapping their hips twice, and this is usually done before the other team can score. One of the blockers on each jam can be the pivot. The pivot wears a stripe on their helmet cover. The pivot is the one blocker who is allowed to receive a star pass from the jammer, and once they put the star on, they become the jammer for the rest of that jam. As said, the jammers cannot become lead once they take the star off, or they lose lead status if they had it. Therefore, star passes are usually done after the other team has already gotten lead. Now let's go over some important rules. If you go out of bounds, you must re-enter behind everyone who was in front of you when you went out of bounds. And if you were hit out, you must also go behind the person who hit you out. If you illegally re-enter the track, it is a cutting the track penalty, and we'll get to penalties in a minute. Roller derby is a full contact sport, but there is rules about how and where you can hit people. You cannot hit above the shoulders, you cannot hit below mid-thigh, and you cannot hit around the spine. As for what parts of your body you can block with, you are allowed to use your back to block, but you cannot use your elbows or forearms. This is why you'll often see blockers with their back to the jammer, as it is presenting an illegal target zone. Additionally, one of the most important rules for contact is that all contact must be given in the counterclockwise direction. Illegal contact is generally not penalized unless it has impact on the game. So placing your forearm on somebody is not a penalty, but shoving them out of the way is. So this brings us to the pack, one of the most important rules, but also one of the most time-consuming to explain. So I will give a very brief rundown of it here. The pack is defined as the largest group of blockers from both teams within 10 feet of each other. If all blockers are within 10 feet of each other, then they are all within the pack. The pack rules prevent one team from running away from the other because they would not be within that 10-foot distance. If there is no pack, you are required to reform the pack. Pack is here, and the engagement zone is 20 feet from the pack. Once you are pushed past the engagement zone, you are no longer allowed to block or be blocked. Jammers, however, can block each other anywhere on the track. Here is an example from a game. As the white jammer was pushing forward, the white blockers stayed stationary and back, and so black team's blockers had to bridge out to extend the engagement zone, but they were pushed out far enough and had to let the white team's jammer go. And now penalties. I mentioned a few illegal actions and penalties, such as high blocks, low blocks, back blocks, clockwise blocks, forearms, destroying the pack, failure to reform the pack, cutting the track, and more. When a skater is penalized, they must exit the track to the outside and go sit in the penalty box. They stay in the penalty box for 30 seconds, and gameplay continues as normal. After those 30 seconds are up, they may return to the track. If the jam ends, they continue to serve the rest of their penalty at the start of the next jam. To wrap things up, let's take a look at some common things you'll see in gameplay. Tripods, a strong defensive formation. Using toe stops for fancy footwork. Some big hits. Falling. Lots of falling. Recycling, hitting someone out and making them skate back before re-entering. Hip checks, hitting someone with your hip. Penalties, big hits, more falling. Apex jumps. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and please support your local roller derby team.